Today is September 15th, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topics are national dignity and KMT's dignity, and Premier Su to report to legislature on September 18th. First, I want to talk about national dignity and KMT's dignity. The KMT announced that it will not send any official delegation to the 12th annual Strait Forum in Xiamen, which will be held on September 19th. The main reason is the state-owned CCTV, China's central TV station, said that the visit of Wang Jinping to China is to begging for peace. And this triggered the controversy of dignity. Here are some points. A, KMT Chairman Jiang Qichen said that if China does not apologize, the KMT will not participate in the forum. But China did not apologize. Why the former KMT Chairman Lin Rongde will attend the Strait Forum? Is he also begging for peace? What about his dignity? So the latest development is that Lin Rongde changed his mind and said that he will not attend the forum. Why? Because Chinese netizens said that when KMT go to China, it's not just begging for peace, but also like a group of beggars, which is a huge humiliation. The spokesperson of the presidential office said that there's nothing more important than defending national dignity. What I want to ask is, the country must have dignity. What about the KMT? What about KMT members? Don't they care about dignity? B, the fact is that KMT is running out of money, and the party needs donations from the members of the Central Standing Committee. And many of the members are Taiwan businessmen doing business in China. So it's like a cycle. The KMT depends on Taiwanese businessmen, and the Taiwanese businessmen depend on China. So that means KMT depends on China? From this incident of Xiamen Strait Forum, we can see that the Chinese Communist Party does not care about the KMT at all. The meeting between the chairman of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, 中国政协主席汪洋, and the former president of the Legislative Yuan, Wang Jinping, was highly anticipated by the KMT. However, it seems like it's not important to the CCP at all. If China thinks the dialogue is important, they would have apologized immediately, right? Second issue I want to talk about, Premier Su to report to legislature on September 18th. Premier Su Zhenchang will report to the legislature on the day of its opening session. The KMT is kind of proposing a referendum of importing U.S. pork with retobaming. I personally support it because I think the referendum is a democratic right for every Taiwanese. The question is whether it can pass or not. Here are some points. A, for the U.S. pork referendum to pass, talking about the referendum, there must be 280,000 people sign the petition so they can vote. And after voting, around 4.83 million people must vote yes so that the referendum will pass. B, the KMT still have one thing that is difficult to convince the people, and that is why former President Ma can lift the ban of U.S. beef with retobaming 8 years ago, but President Tsai cannot lift the ban of U.S. pork with retobaming now. U.S. Undersecretary of State Keith Kress is going to visit Taiwan on September 17. If Taiwan and the United States can reach the agreement of BTA, I think the possibility of passing the U.S. pork referendum, it's almost zero. Here are the top stories. Today, we have 0 confirmed cases. As the U.S. Undersecretary Keith Kress is going to visit Taiwan on September 17, and China tried to provoke Taiwan twice in 2 consecutive days. And China fly Long March rocket today and claims that it will fly directly over Taiwan. You can see the trajectory. The Long March 11 rocket, Changzhen 11号火箭, just flew over Taiwan. And the rocket blasted off at 9:32 a.m. China announced that the rocket used the one arrow carries 9 star, 一箭9星 methods as the rocket flies over the skies of Taiwan. Also, another group of China's jet fighter kind of intrude Taiwan's ADIZ on September 13 to 14th. According to Taiwan Aviation Broadcast Records, the PLA's fighters intrude Taiwan's ADIZ at 7 a.m. at the altitude of 2,000 meters and was driven away by Taiwan Air Force. And the U.S. is kind of active in that area too. Well, we can see from the map. This is a map here. We can see here. These we're saying this is a U.S. E-8 Joint Starfighter, and this is the Chinese fighters, and here should be Taiwan. Also, you can see from this map, you can see that Taiwan is over here, and we can see that the U.S. Air Force Boeing KC-135 Strait tanker flew around the southwest coast around 10:30 a.m. and the U.S. Northern Grumman E-8 Joint Star entered the Bashi Channel at 12 p.m. to patrol in the southwest airspace. Additionally, we know that U.S. kind of stresses support for Taiwan. U.S. Assistant Secretary of East Asia and Pacific Affairs David Stilwell said in the Department of State's Asia Media Conference in Manila, and he said that the United States has maintained its presence in the Taiwan Strait. Besides that, that China firmly opposed the U.S. Undersecretary of State visiting Taiwan. That Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Wang Wenbin said that. He said, "We urge the U.S. to abide by the One China principle and stop all forms of kind of official ties between the U.S. and Taiwan so as to avoid serious damage to China-U.S. relations and peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait." On the other hand, the EU is amplifying Taiwan's voice. 9 high-profile European parliamentarians and the expert wrote to the French media Le Monde, and it supports Taiwan. It said that China ignores international rules and values. EU should no longer stand by it. We call on Europe to rethink the One China policy and strengthen its support for democratic Taiwan. Also, European parliamentarian Lexman strongly rebut China, and she treated that EU leaders must understand that the only way to develop a sustainable policy toward China is truth and freedom are the twin pillars on which all our nations must build sure and stronger foundations. Talking about Hong Kong national security law, 24 Democratic activists charged for participating in an unlawful assembly on June 4th face court heard today. And Hong Kong activist Joshua Wang Zhifeng tweeted last night, and he said that, "I need to attend a court hearing tomorrow because of being charged with participating in an unauthorized assembly during the June 4th communication and talking about commemoration of the Tiananmen Square massacre. No matter how the result of the verdict, I have no regret to commemorate the crackdown from Tiananmen." Actually, Wang Zhifeng did attend the court hearing at 2:30 p.m., and media tycoon Jimmy Lai also attended. The case will be postponed to October 15th, and we will know that, the result later. There's another war kind of between China and the United States. I want to talk about Xinjiang and TikTok. According to BBC News, published an article with the title, U.S. to block Xinjiang export, citing China's human rights abuses. That the Commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Mark Morgan, he said, the orders on Monday sent a clear message to the international community that we will not tolerate the illicit and inhumane and exploitative practices of the forced labors in the U.S. supply chains. As to TikTok, South China Morning Post said that the TikTok's kind of algorithm not for sale. ByteDance 字节跳动 tells the United States that TikTok said that we will not hand out sources code of any U.S. buyers, but the technology team of TikTok in the United States can develop a new algorithm. And behind the story is that the no algorithm condition was now the bottom line for any discussions of sales or restructure of TikTok, because the Chinese government has a new law of export controls. They don't want their technologies to be stolen by the United States. And that will be the view for today. I hope you have a nice night. This is Catherine. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.